Hi folks, it is a bastard in here, and this is my video response to Howard the Humongous, who is bigger than life, artist, musician, writer, thinker, scientist mind, and critic. Well, actually, I don't know if he's a musician, but I think he likes rock and roll a lot. Anyways, what is this video response about to Howard the Humongous? It is about him calling bullshit on two things, and those two things are Big Bang and second law of thermodynamics. Now let's start with the Big Bang because it makes more sense to start from the very beginning. Now how do we know there has been a Big Bang? How do we know there has been a giant massive explosion that started this all? There are traces. There are traces that can be tracked into that one tiny spot in space where all of this happened. Now what happened after the big explosion, which is called a bang that was big, aka Big Bang, I do not know. But because of that giant explosion, we have a space. We have a giant expanding space. A space that is apparently expanding faster than speed of light. Or perhaps it doesn't, perhaps it is just an illusion provided by light. I don't know what happens at the edge of the universe, but I for certain know that it is expanding. Which leads me into my second point, which you call bullshit, my dear Howard. The second law of thermodynamics. And for those who do not know what second law of thermodynamics is, it is basically, and I'm sorry if I am giving a really poor explanation, you really have to look it up yourself, but I try. It is basically if we have an isolated system, and inside that isolated system there is a atoms, lots of atoms, cool atoms and warm atoms. It will balance out. And eventually that balance will lead into a chaos. It will turn everything inside that box into mush. It's like pouring cold water into a warm water. The amount of water expands, but the warmth is balanced out. And that is basically how does the second law of thermodynamics work. The warm, it will never go anywhere. It is always there, sticking like a leech. And why aren't we in complete chaos? The thing is, we do not live in isolated box. This is not isolated system we live in. We have constantly expanding space. From that expansion there will come more room for heat to escape into. And that is why we are not in complete chaos. According to second law of thermodynamics, there will eventually be a giant, big, massive chaos. I don't know what that chaos is supposed to look like, but if we look outside of our own little solar system, there is already a massive chaos going on. There are giant floating fireballs, rocks slamming into each other, black holes that is sucking everything in like a Yeah, I'm not going there. Anyways, we already live in a chaos, but it's well balanced chaos. It's a chaos that makes sense. And why does it make sense? Because that chaos is working systematically. The reason why second law of thermodynamics haven't completely turned our universe into a big freaking ball of smush is because there is still order, and that order affects us. How the heat works, how the cold works, how planets works, how everything works, it affects us constantly. But perhaps in the future, not right now, not tomorrow, not a week from now on, not a year from now on, not a months and decades from now on, not even millenniums from now on. It it possibly won't happen for like Googleplex of years, but it is certain that eventually it will happen. And if it's possible, then eventually it will happen. That's the thing. I don't know if our ever expanding universe, this space we live within, will someday stop expanding. Perhaps someday it will collapse. And then we are truly screwed. But the thing is, it won't happen in our lifetime. It will happen eventually, but it will be like a zillions of years from now on, so we don't need to worry about it. Well, at least you don't need to worry about it. I plan to live forever. That's what I love about science. Robots, gene manipulation, and stuff like that. But it will happen eventually. Thus, second law of thermodynamics, however you call it as, it's not complete bullshit. It just is that we don't live in isolated system. So, yeah, do I have anything more to say? Well, I like your videos. You have lots of wise words to say, but this is just a time that I do not disagree. Because I also have a brain and I like to think a lot, even though my brain is really stupid. So, I'm the bastard, signing out.